Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest GFS ensembles, and then we'll have a look at the various temperature charts along with precipitation charts, and then we'll finally have a look at the Met Office CET for looking at what we're seeing for May and spring as a whole. Do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you do like and subscribe, and do remember to follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description. Now, we've had a very fine day today for many areas. Been around 21, 22, 23 degrees in many parts, feeling quite warm and summer-like. It's been pretty much cloudless for most of the country. Perhaps, though, parts of in eastern areas have seen some low cloud and some misty skies. But most of that did peel away to the coast as we went through the day. But it's because we've got this sort of easterly flow around the high pressure, with the sea surface temperatures in the North Sea still being cooler than the air temperature. It does mean it does create some low cloud and mist, which can unfortunately linger along the east coast, suppressing temperatures this time of year. However, for most areas, it was very pleasant, and it's going to continue like that for the next at least 3 or 4 days. Now you can see the high pressure doesn't move eastwards, starts to bring up a southerly flow in this latest GFS, and it does start to pull up some very warm air indeed. Till sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, could be seeing mid to high 20s, and we'll have a look at the temperatures in a minute. However, to the southwest, you see this little area of low pressure, this upper trough starts to develop. Now, it's going to mainly affect western areas, but it's going to allow instability, and it could produce some heavy showers and potentially a few thunderstorms in some areas. Now, further eastwards, closer to the high pressure, it's more likely to be warmer and drier, and that's where we're likely to see the higher temperatures. As we move through, that low sort of moves northwestwards, which is an interesting direction for the area of low pressure to move as it heads up towards Greenland, and we maintain with this sort of southerly wind. You can see isobars coming in from the west for northwestern areas, and that means there could be some rain and cloud moving in. However, it's really going to depend on the exact positioning of the low and high, so we'll have to look at that nearer the time. However, we continue bringing up some warm air from the south, especially in the southeast, seeing very warm conditions. But again, you can see a little pocket of low pressure develops towards northern France, and this could trigger some big thunderstorms as we head through into next weekend and beyond. But generally, it does look like high pressure is going to be dominating up until day 10 with pretty warm conditions, and the temperatures building day on day, where we could be seeing around 24, 25 degrees quite widely for many areas for most of the next week or so. However, when we do see showers and more cloud, those temperatures could be suppressed. So it's really going to be a sort of microclimates where we see those big thunderstorms develop, or where we see low cloud cling on. That's where we could see some temperature variations. Beyond that, high pressure stays in control, and that low never really gets in off the Atlantic. You can see its weather fronts are probably positioned just to the west of Ireland, and perhaps trying to make inroads, but not really doing much before high pressure again builds and going into a very warm spell indeed. If we have a look at the 850 HPA temperature deviation, you can see pretty much for the whole run we're between 2 to 4, maybe even 6 degrees above average, which is going to mean we're going to go into quite a sustained warm period of weather. If we now look at the GFS ensembles, you can see generally all of the ensemble members, or most of them, are above average, and the average of the ensemble members are well above the seasonal mean as well. You can see there are a few ensemble members dipping down. You can see in about 3 or 4 days' time, there's a few ensemble members dipping down, and that low pressure comes in further eastwards and spreads cooler air in. However, majority of ensemble members don't get that cooler air coming through. So I'd say the majority, and probably the most probable scenario at this stage, is warmer air sticking around, especially further eastwards. But as you can see with the precipitation, there will be some hit and miss showers, some convection, and some thunderstorms. And it does look like, even though it's going to be pretty much high pressure dominated, there's always going to be low pressure near around. There's going to be upper level troughs. There's going to be areas of thunderstorms moving up from France. We're going to have sort of those Cape Clipper situations, and it does look like there will still be some rain around. If we have a look at the 2-meter temperatures, you can see most ensemble members are going above 20 degrees for the next sort of 7 to 10 days at least. The average of all the ensemble members is around 20, 21 degrees. We've got a few ensemble members even getting up to 25, and above. And again, Ensemble members aren't great as they are low resolution forecasting temperatures, but they do give a general idea, and I would say maybe a degree or two either side of this is what we're likely to see. So 25 degrees is very much possible for many areas. If we now have a look at the GFS temperatures, we'll go through the next sort of 7 days or so, and then we'll have a look at the precipitation. You can see Sunday will probably be around 18, 19 degrees, and well, it wasn't really, it was a bit warmer than that in fact. Maybe the GFS was predicting more cloud around, but it was actually got up to around 20, 21 degrees quite widely. So the GFS did downplay Sunday a little bit. If we look through Monday, again, maybe 20, 21 degrees. That could easily be 23, 24 in some spots. Tuesday, again, very warm, 20 to 23 degrees quite widely. Again, Wednesday, again, quite a warm day, maybe even the peak with 24, 25 degrees in the southeast. And then as we head through Thursday, things cool down in the west as we do have thunderstorms and showers moving in. But further east, still 22, 23 degrees. Quite a temperature contrast though. 14, 15 degrees down in Cornwall, but 22, 23 degrees in East Anglia. As we head into Friday, you can see again, mainly eastern areas seeing warmth, but you can see further southwards and westwards still seeing some warmth as that rain bands and thunderstorms do start to clear. Saturday, again, a very warm day, 23, 24 degrees. And again, Sunday, maybe 24, 25, or even 26 degrees. So you can see some areas, especially in the east and the southeast, could be remaining around 24, 25 degrees for the next week or so. So very warm conditions we could be seeing with that. If we have a look at the precipitation rates, you can see there's a few showers towards Northern Ireland and Scotland, and nowhere near as widespread as this is showing. But as we head through, you can see those weather fronts out in the Atlantic trying to break through, but never really making it through. But as we head into Wednesday, you can see those showers and thunderstorms heading up from the southwest, and the weather fronts moving up on that upper level trough, potentially bringing big thunderstorms parts of southwestern areas, Wales, parts of Ireland, Northern Ireland, perhaps even some thunderstorms affecting southern and southeastern areas, before slowly clearing northwards. Friday again, a few thunderstorms around, and it's going to be very difficult to predict exactly what happens. And you can see again, Sunday afternoon, we can see some big thunderstorms towards northern France, not making it quite as far as southern England, but again, it's quite a big margin of error. And this general pattern does suggest we could be seeing some quite potent thunderstorms around. If we have a look at the GM, we'll run through this quickly once again. You can see Monday around 22, 23. And Tuesday, again, 24, 25, 26. So GM going a bit warmer there than the GFS. Wednesday peaking around 28 or 29 degrees. So perhaps even potentially lingering around maybe 29, 20 or 30 degrees. So potentially touching on the 30 degree barrier. And you can see parts of France seeing some very warm conditions around 30 degrees as well. So we're not that far away from the really quite warm conditions or heatwave-like conditions. Into Thursday, again, 28 to 29 degrees possible in East Anglia, where further west, not so much. Feeling quite muggy as well in the southeast and east. You can see overnight Friday not getting below 17, 18 degrees, but further west, where we see the cooler air come in, maybe 6, 7, 8 degrees, or even locally down to 4 or 5 degrees. Through Friday, again, another warm day, 21, 22 degrees, and then Saturday, again, 24, 25, and Sunday, once again, getting up into the 20s. So GM, again, showing very warm conditions quite widely. Precipitation rate, you can see again, very little precipitation around until we get towards sort of Tuesday, Wednesday. We do see those thunderstorms in the southwest, not as widespread as the GFS, but again, showing them around. It's going to be difficult to predict exactly how they're going to form until maybe Monday or Tuesday. So we're going to have to wait another 24 or 48 hours to see exactly where we're most likely to see these forming. But moving northwards, and there could even be some further eastwards and northwards as well. Through Thursday, again, a few thunderstorms further westwards. And then we can see, again, some thunderstorms affecting southern areas and moving northwards, affecting parts of southern England and East Anglia and parts of southwestern areas, southern Wales. Some big thunderstorms there potentially next weekend. So that's one really we need to watch because that came up in the GFS as well. However, the GFS had positioned a little bit further southwards, so we're going to really have to keep an eye on that. If we now finally have a look at the icon run, you can see Monday around 23, 24. Oh, unfortunately, I don't think it's updated correctly. We'll go back to the 12Z. There we go. Monday around 23, 24 degrees. Tuesday around 23, 24 degrees once again. Feeling very pleasant, warm, 24, 25, very quite widely. However, Thursday, you see temperatures in the southwest, 15, 16. Further eastwards, maybe around 20, 21 degrees. And then Friday again, relatively warm, getting around 20 degrees probably by the peak of the day. So you can see with these temperature charts, they're all showing very similar values. The GM, over the last few videos and including this video, it does look like it's the most optimistic model, getting around 28, 29 degrees perhaps Wednesday or Thursday. But again, I definitely think 25, 26 degrees is doable. Getting up into the high 20s will very much depend on how much low cloud forms overnight, and if that does linger throughout the day. If it does clear, I could see 27, 28, or even 29 degrees happening. And if there is a slight shift and some warmer upper airs do drift northwards, we could even see 30 degrees. I wouldn't rule that out at this stage. If we have a look at the precipitation, again, very little precipitation apart from Western Ireland, really, where it's flirting with weather fronts. And then through Wednesday, a few thunderstorms start to form in the southwest. Heading northwards, some big thunderstorms, quite an active front moving in. Some big thunderstorms perhaps in the northwest, so Icon very active with its thunderstorms here through Wednesday and Thursday. And then again, some big thunderstorms through Friday with southeastern sort of Kent Clipper storms coming up from northern France. So Icon going very active here, which is interesting. So we're going to really have to keep an eye on what's going to happen with these storms. Again, we'll really see their exact position and how they're going to develop 24, 48 hours out, and sometimes it's even sort of nowcasting, looking at the live radar, seeing where they're positioned and the wind direction. So it's going to be very difficult to forecast these, but it's going to be very interesting to watch out. So make sure you do keep up to date with forecasts and look at live radars as well towards sort of the middle to end part of this week, as we could be seeing some quite potent thunderstorms. They don't look like they're going to be isolated cells. They do look like it's going to be organised, sort of showery bands with embedded thunderstorms. So when it does come and hit your area, it could be a couple of hours of quite heavy rain. So we're going to really have to watch out for that and have a look at that in more detail and on some shorter range models near at the time. Finally, we'll have a look at the mean central England temperature. Now, tomorrow is the last day of May, but I thought I'd just have a look at this now, as it's likely to change very subtly. You can see the CET for May has been 10.1 degrees, provisional to the 29th, of course, which is an anomaly of 0.9 degrees below average. I suspect that may go up to around more 0.7 or 0.8, as we're going to see. It's been a warm day today and will probably be a warm day tomorrow, bumping up a little bit. You can see the anomaly to the 29th so far has been around 0.04 below average, and I do suspect that will probably be exactly zero by the end of this month. So far this year has pretty much been the average in terms of anomalies to the 1961 to 1990 Central England temperatures. So it's been a pretty average year. We had a cold January, we had a very cold start of February, but a warmer second half of February, a relatively warm March, and then we had a cold April and a reasonably cool May, but it's going to finish with some warmer conditions. So it has been quite up and down. We have seen, or we're going to see the extremes. We've seen brutally cold conditions in both February and again in April, but probably going to see some very warm conditions towards the end of May and start of June. So it hasn't been just average all round, but it does show you that seeing very cold conditions and very warm conditions do outweigh each other, and it looks like so far by the end of the 5th month of the year it's going to be around average. And if you have a look at the mean central England temperature anomalies, you can see most of the last sort of 15 or 20 years have been between 0.5 and 1 degree above average. And currently looking at what the long range models are looking at, what we're seeing so far this year, I very much doubt that it will get above 0.5 degrees for the whole year, and probably going to be around 0 or maybe 0.1, 0.2 if we do see some big summer heat waves this year. So you can see it's going to be a reasonably cool year. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be a reasonably cool year, as long as we don't get a brutally hot summer and warm autumn as well. Looking at long range patterns, I think that's unlikely. But if it does come off, we would probably get up to around where we've seen the last 15 or 20 years. But it does look like we're going to maybe go into a cooler spell. You can see where this year currently is, this little speck just off the bottom of the 0 degree line. I do suspect it will be positive for the end of the year. but it could symbolise the start of a few colder years after the solar minimum, which we saw last year. Solar minimum does have a correlation with colder winters and colder years in general. So we'll have to really keep an eye on that coming into the autumn and next winter. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.